Brilliant. Look, Jack, thanks for coming on the podcast. My first question to you is why CrossFit? Why CrossFit?
Yeah. So, firstly, thanks for having me. So I think how I started getting into CrossFit was I played soccer for most of my childhood. That was sort of like my competitive outlet, and then as I started to finish up at high school, I sort of got a bit sick of it, got a bit burnt out. And then started to see some videos online of this CrossFit thing, and
Can you remember what specific videos it was?
the first one was probably the Froning Netflix thing.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
like almost every CrossFitter out there. That would have been the first one I saw, and then I would have dived into some more stuff. And then I just sort of decided I'm gonna give this a go try it out. And then that was just around when I finished school and been doing it ever since, basically. Yeah.
Where was the first CrossFit gym? Was it Torian or was it somewhere else?
No, so I started at CrossFit Speed up at Northlake, so that was the first gym that I walked into. But I started doing some Olympic lifting probably the last 6 months before I joined the gym, just because I knew I wanted to do it, and I knew that Olympic lifting, there's obviously a lot of technique to it, takes a lot of time. So I spent some time working on that, and then that allowed me to get into CrossFit and know a little bit of what I was doing.
So where were you doing the Olympic lifting beforehand, before joining the gym?
That was at school. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So down in the gym at school is a pretty good setup. They had weightlifting platforms, and the coach, the strength and conditioning coach, he had coached weightlifting before. So I got some free one-on-ones in my lunchtime, and I went down probably 2 or 3 lunchtimes a week. And that's sort of where I started learning.
That's incredible too, because when you've got a base in the Olympic lifts as well,
Yeah.
it definitely helps into the transition of CrossFit.
Oh yeah, it helps so much.
So one of the things, I mean, for the probably listeners that don't know, right? So when I first came into CrossFit Torian, right, you were the person who kind of introduced me to the whole place, right? This is what CrossFit is. Go through the general, mobility. Can you do this? Can you do the squatting and whatnot? But I personally had done minimal amount of Olympic lifts, and I think that and the technique aspect of it can take so long.
Yeah.
When
for sure.
when you first stepped into an actual CrossFit gym, can you recall what was the first sort of workouts you were doing, because you had a background in soccer, right? So you had probably a bit of cardio background to you. When you were really first hitting those weights, those movements in CrossFit, were you straight away hooked into it?
Yeah. I knew pretty quickly that it was what I wanted to do. To be honest, when I first started, I did a lot more of just the Olympic lifting for a little while. I wasn't doing too many workouts. But then it got more and more as I got into it. I can't remember my first
sort of
one in a class. My first CrossFit workout was Murph though.
Oh,
So,
wow!
yeah.
Okay, dang, that's a big thing to go. For
Yeah.
a sort of first
So me and 3 of my mates, we decided we wanted to get into it, and so we decided we would learn how to do kipping pull-ups.
Yeah.
So we taught ourselves how to do that in a week. And then it was a Saturday at a Snap Fitness that we did Murph for the first time, and it was like a bet between us.
Wow. Okay.
And
As in, who could go the fastest, who could do the quickest time. Yeah. Okay. And for some of the listeners, can you sort of explain what Murph is as well?
So Murph is a 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, 1 mile run. When we did it, we did the partition version, which was the 5 rounds of 20, 40, 60.
Ah, yes, yep.
Yeah, so first time I got beat by one of my mates, and I wasn't happy about that. So I was like, we're going again in I think it was a month before we did it again. And I sort of trained for it and made sure I beat him the second time.
So a bit of a competitive nature to you. And
definitely.
Was that bred from playing soccer? Was that family? What do you reckon that competitive nature came from?
Definitely being the younger brother.
Oh, okay.
So I got an older brother, and just whatever we were doing, we were sort of competing in. His mates were coming over, and that's sort of how it came.
Yeah, just the nature of actually pushing ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that's why you now, so obviously fast forwarding, right? You competed at sort of the CrossFit Australian Torian Pro that happened just a couple of months ago. Do you find yourself that ever since you kind of got hooked into doing CrossFit, you knew straight away, I've seen the Netflix shows, I'm going to be doing this sort of thing. I want to compete. I want to do this.
Yeah. I was one of those guys going in wanting to compete. I like before I'd even done a CrossFit workout.
No
properly.
session's been done.
No, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But I sort of had set the goal to get into competing. Like I didn't want to just do it for fun.
Yeah.
Even though it is fun along the way. But no, I definitely had goals of doing some sort of competition.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes people don't understand about CrossFit, and I probably didn't either, because I'll give you a couple of years ago, I'd say 3 years ago, I remember watching the same couple of Netflix shows, and I was like, oh, well, I've done lifting before. This seems fairly all right. I could probably do some kipping pull-ups. Cool. I could probably make it to regionals or whatever the hell it was back then. Yeah. And then you actually do it, and you're like, okay, there's some realities to the actual.
Good. They're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
And you kind of also learn, and I find it, training here at Torian, there's a split between the people who are doing it for the health aspect. There's people who are doing it for the, just staying fit and doing something that's, quite tough, and it's the self-imposed suffering that you enjoy doing as well. Yeah. And then there's people who are like, okay, we're doing this, properly. I've got it set out. I've got my workout path, whether it's for competing or just to be at a high level. Yeah. I was going to say specifically to you, because you're now sort of a coach here at Torian.
Yep.
How do you tend to deal when you're coaching someone who is, let's say, doing it just purely for the health aspect, and the person who's there just trying to be like, I'm trying to be top 20 in Australia or something like that? What's those differences that go through your mind?
Good question.
It's hard, right? It's a hard one.
It is hard. Like, I think the thing with everyone, like, no matter what their goals are, especially in class, is just getting them moving better. Like, everyone can benefit from being more efficient in the way that they move. So that's sort of the main thing with everyone. With the people that want to be more competitive, sort of like challenging them a bit more. And but they'll typically like seek us coaches out a lot more. Yeah, it's like, I really want to learn this movement. I need to do it for this competition or before the open or something like that. And so, they'll be like, I'd say they'll ask more questions about what they need to do, what do they need to get better at, and but there's not too much different. It's just for people that want to be competitive, it's just more stuff outside of class that they just need to practice, basically. Yeah.
And in those two splits, so then you've got, let's say, basics, people who are just trying to do like a basic workout, or are beginners, or just doing it for health and fitness and day-to-day life. Yeah. What do you think are the struggles or the things that they most often get wrong? And then also when you're looking at the more experienced people, even yourself, Royce, Will, those sort of people, what are the mistakes you see still happening at those levels?
Yeah, so I think, with everyone that comes to class, like, everyone wants to get better, right? They're not just coming in just to get worse or not stay the same, because it's tough, right? But I think with a lot of members, it would be either like going too heavy and like rushing to put weight on the bar, and just with the higher skill like gymnastics, wanting that secret. Wanting the secret pill of, what's your secret to bar muscle ups?
How do you do the ring muscle ups, you know?
Like, and there's things we can do to help, and we go through those gymnastics classes where we do the progressions, but then who goes and practices that outside of class? Because doing a ring muscle up progression once a month, we probably get to it. Yep. Like, it helps and it'll get you there over time, but it's it takes a bit of initiative to actually get those skills, because they are quite challenging. And
definitely. Yep.
And unfortunately, I don't have the secret pill to
it.
Well,
and it probably is. There is no secret pill. You ask Matt or anyone top level who's been doing things for multiple years, and it's like, you just put in the work, right? Yeah. I think Matt's HWPO, or hard work pays off, or something like that, his little slogan. So it's probably less of a secret pill and more just like, put in the effort, do the technique.
And it's not like it's not just more metcons. It's not just more workouts. Yeah. It's just the set 10 minutes on the clock and do just practice.
Sure.
Or do one of the boring progressions. It's not as fun, but that's what's
needed.
That's what's needed to get those skills, and that's what will get you there over time.
Sure. Yeah. So then in the sort of the higher ranks, those people who have been doing it for a long time, even yourself, other pros, what's the difficulties, what's the challenges that you guys still face?
I think for the high level competitors, like mentally, it's quite a challenge. Like it's a lot of training, sometimes often by yourself, and I know like Royce, Will, and myself, we all found that when we went to the pro. I think every athlete who competed individually at the pro like had their challenges. So that would probably be the difference. Like they have all the skills, but it's just like putting it together on game day. So that would probably, I'd say, be the main thing that would challenge them.
One thing that, because I think Royce vocalized it a little bit more in the social media, I think on his Instagram as well, but I thought, something like this probably went through everybody's minds. Just how challenging was it to compete at something like a Torian Pro versus, like, give me an example of, you come in for a class and you might do a class, you might do a small workout afterwards and maybe some in the afternoon. What's the difference between 3 of those workouts and, 3-4 workouts on a day at the Torian Pro?
There's a lot of differences to it. Firstly, just how hard you push, right? Like you don't, and even myself, I didn't really buy into, you go faster on game day. Like how much faster can you go? But yeah, it's a different level that you don't get to in training, and that just becomes challenging.
Gotcha.
At the pro, like for all of us, just like getting up on the second day, gearing yourself up, okay, we got to do this again.
Do this again.
Yep, and then you do the first workout, you cool down, all right, time to warm up again, let's go again. And it's just like, by the last day, you're a little bit over CrossFit, honestly. Yeah, you are by the 7th workout. But at that point, that's sort of where you just you've put so much work into getting there, and there's a lot of people watching, and you got to do it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But I thought they were like, look, I've already started this, got to complete it.
Yeah, exactly.
The only parable that I can say with this is I used to do swimming way back when I was younger, and we'd used to do, go swim your 200-meter freestyle, you'd probably break for 20 minutes, go and swim an 800-meter freestyle, and it was quite quick as you go through it. So, even though you're doing a swim meet, it's over half a day, right? Yeah. Not spanned out over 3 days.
Yeah.
How did you structure, give us an example of, like, say, one of those days, maybe like, say, day 2. How did you structure that in terms of how you were trying to either, eat, warm up, warm down with the event? Like, was there some sort of tips and tricks you were trying to do in terms of calming yourself down? Walk us through maybe what day 2 looked like.
Yeah, so every day for the pro, Royce, Will, and I, we'd meet here at Torian. We then went to Cafe 63 and we all got breakfast together.
Nice.
So that was sort of like how we decompressed from the day before, talked about what was going to happen on that day, and then we'd all drive in together, like we'd carpool in every day. So then we'd get to the venue, and I was in the first heat, so typically I'd be up first, so I'd head off and start warming up. And then, I'd warm up. Typically for the workouts, I'd have a chat with Royce, get his advice on something, and as well, Matt Gilpin, one of my friends, I'd talk to him. He's helped me a lot. So I'd warm up, do the workout, I'd come out. For most of the workouts, I would then go to the the physio section, either get like a massage or get in the Normatec boots.
Yep.
And then it would sort of depend on what was the workout on the second day. So we had the handstand one in the morning, and then I'm trying to remember what the second one was.
It skips my mind for sure, because unfortunately I was only there for the 3rd day.
Yeah, I know we finished with the lift at the end, but it got a bit of food in. Made sure I was like drinking water, having Gatorade, something like that. Some Fit Aids. They were all over the place at the pro, which was good. Yeah. And then just rinse and repeat 3 times basically.
What time did you wake up on day 2, and what time did you go to bed? If you can kind of recall, roughly.
we were going to bed pretty late.
Yeah.
Because we'd finish the night and then we'd have to have our brief for the next day's workouts.
Right, okay.
So when all the supporters left, we had to go back out and watch this brief of the workout and like learn all the standards and make sure we understood what was going to happen. So we'd do that, and then again, Royce, Will, and I would go get dinner all together again. And then like by the time I got home and got to bed, it would be probably like 11:30 each night. But we were getting a good sleep in.
Yeah, okay.
So,
well, you just almost crashed when you'd get home, I can imagine.
Yeah. Like we're a little wired, but we were pretty tired at the same time.
I could imagine.
It would be a pretty late night, but get a good sleep in the next
What
day.
was the workout at the Torian Pro? And you can choose either one. The one that you went, shit, like this is going to be just hard for me to do. Or opposite, you went, yep, this is right up my alley, but didn't end up being that way. So you can pick whichever you want.
Okay, so both of those are on day one.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Event one was just like, so event one, for those that don't know, was a 5K run, 7K bike, 2K row. Yeah. And so that's like 40 minutes of discomfort.
Yeah.
And the tricky part about that workout, which made everyone a bit nervous, was you won it on the run. Like the people that ran the furthest, the fastest would win that workout, but you also could end yourself on the run, and there was a few people that do it. I won't name names.
Yeah.
But there was a couple.
If people want to go back, you can watch some of the videos. Some people get off that bike. The runner just absolutely wrecked.
Yeah. So that one, that was the one I think a lot of us were like most nervous about. And in the back, all the boys, how fast are you running this 5K? Like that's what everyone was saying to each other.
Everyone's like, yeah, gotta go sub 20. Go sub 20, everybody.
Yeah. So that was like nerve-wracking just because I knew what was going to happen. I'd done it in training.
Yep.
It's a long grind.
Yep.
And I didn't want to be the one that dies on the bike after the run. Yeah. Because I had a close call.
And I was going to say, with the bike, like, I'm used to your traditional bike. So if people listening at home, right, you might think like, oh yeah, just get on the bike. Yeah, cool. You're going to, cycle the 7Ks. These bikes, is it what particular type is
Bike
it?
erg.
Bike ergs? Yeah. Like these bike ergs, they're no joke. They're not like, I'm just going to spin. No, every single cycle is like a big push. So I can understand, not wanting to die on that bike.
Yeah, so I, in that workout, I ran a PB 5K. I was like 40 seconds faster than in training. And it did hurt me for the rest of the workout. There was a point on the bike about like halfway in where there was like a breeze across the stadium and I felt like I was just gonna like fall down. Like I felt like I went even wider in the face.
Yeah, damn.
And
is that even possible? Amazing. Yeah.
And then so at that point I slowed right down. I biked like a 210 for the next K. Yeah. And then I came back to life and I was like, okay, that was a close call. Yeah. Like I had that, when you feel like you're about to vomit.
The
stars
happening. Are coming, the lights
like
twinkling.
In my head, I'm like, oh, please don't let this happen on your first workout.
The cameras like run. And I was going to ask you this as well, right? So those cameras were going back and forth. I'm sure they had lots of them. Was it something mentally as well that you were like, oh, no, I can't. You're like, I can't just go shit. I can't like fall off this bike. I've got cameras. I've got people watching me.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I was thinking. At that point, it was pure terror as I was trying to hold on. But we made it through that, and I went faster on the run, slower on the bike and the road, but faster overall. Yeah. So that's the first workout. The second one was one that I was like, oh yeah, this one's for me.
This is yours, yeah.
And it didn't quite go to plan. That was the only workout I did worse than in training. Okay. The rest I all was faster. So that was 21 ring muscle ups into 21 squat snatches at 65 kilos. Yep. Did the 21 muscle ups unbroken like we planned. Will and I both got off the rings at the same time. I thought that would be the case. I was glad he held on. And then went to the bar, and there was a few things that just sort of were different to then training. The floor was a lot bouncier.
Okay.
The plates were a lot bouncier, and I was just too slow getting back to the bar.
Gotcha.
There was just little things that I didn't practice in training, like for example, grabbing with both hands at the same time versus going right then left, which is my habit. So, and then one no rep in the workout, which wasn't a no rep.
Yeah, it wasn't a no rep. But,
well, what I did was I threw the bar forward because you had to move forward every 7, and I threw it forward, which arguably I don't know if I could have thrown it further. Let's say that. So that was a no rep, but my judge made me redo the rep.
Yeah. Not just pull back, but redo the rep.
I since have found out I didn't have to redo the rep. But anyway, I redid the rep, and I was like 20 seconds slower than in training. But like putting it all in perspective, I did an extra snatch. The bar was bouncing higher. It probably was about the same output, but just the result wasn't quite the same time.
The expected thing.
Yeah.
And actually, I got a question for most people who were up there, right, doing sort of, when they're pros, you imagine them to be super resilient, and they are when they're doing all of the training, right? So do you find that translates over into your everyday life as well? Just the resiliency aspect that you have with training? So, when you're sucking on air, it's hard, things are hard, you're like, okay, I can grind through that, I can just sort of be really resilient. Do you find that part of the training also corresponds to everyday life when it comes to, say, studying or just doing your everyday things? Do you see that sort of translate over? Or do you find like, oh no, I still like suck at some of those other things?
It depends.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no like straight answer to that, and I think for everyone it depends. Like, as CrossFitters, we really enjoy the training and like hanging out with the people. So, we are resilient, but some aspects of it make it easier.
Okay.
Whereas, it depends on what it is. I think I do my best in studies and everything to do the same, but everyone has difficulty with different things, and Yeah, okay.
So, competitive, Jack,
Yes.
You're very, very young. I think 21 still? Or 22?
20.
20. Jesus. Right? Even younger than people think. Now, you're 20 years old. You've got, so much runway in terms of training. But then again, you got people like Justin Medeiros, right, who is super young.
Yes.
Crazy. Just crazy in terms of like the fitness and physique and whatever else. Do you see yourself sort of setting goals, whether it's personally for CrossFit or for other things, where you go, okay, maybe I want to try and hit games in 5 years? Is that sort of a mindset that you go through, or do you go different, like something else entirely?
So for CrossFit in particular, for me, my perspective is I've done a lot of training with people like Royce and Will and Matt as well. And I use Matt as the example. I've done a lot of training with him. He came 9th at the Pro, I think, and I've only ever tied with him in one workout.
Okay, yep.
Never beat him.
Yep.
Never beat him.
Just tied once.
Tied once. That was at the Pro, mind you.
Yeah.
And so to make the games, I've got to be able to beat him.
Of course, yep.
So putting the goal out there, to make the games is a big statement. And not that I'm limiting myself, I just think I'm realistic about it. It's hard, and I only just made the Pro this year. So the goal for the next few years is just try to get back again, and just keep getting better. Yep. And then we'll reevaluate that down the line and see
where you go. Yeah. And so what's the most important thing to you right now when it comes to CrossFit? Let's say CrossFit in particular. Is it getting bigger? Is it getting particularly stronger, faster, those things? At
the Pro, I was one of the lighter athletes. So since then, I've been trying to put on some weight. Yep. Stop being the little guy out there. I've been trying to put on weight and just get stronger. Particularly in my squat, I've been doing a lot of work on that. That's been the since the pro, basically, has been my goal. Yeah.
And then something interesting I saw the other day was Noah Olsen posted this thing where he was like, "Oh, it's too big. I was too big for the games. I want to get smaller." Does it ever go through your mind that yes, you want to be bigger, but is there some sort of guidance, some North Star that you go, okay, I want to be bigger, but if I start going slower in this or my speed is reduced, okay, I know that's probably the limit?
Yeah. So in CrossFit, there's a fine balance. Bigger isn't always better. There's obviously anomalies to that, like Royce, who weighs 103 kilos.
Yep.
But for me, I think to be more competitive on those heavy barbells, I need to be heavier. But to a point where it doesn't affect my gymnastics.
Yeah.
I've put on 5 kilos since the pro now. The only thing I've noticed a difference in would be strict handstand push-ups.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't think that's an issue for me competitively because that was like my biggest strength.
Strength already.
So it's like, yeah, I'm finding them more difficult, but I can, the payoff for that's all right because I've PB'd my squat.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's a fine line, and I think like Noah's trying to find that, right? He's trying to see where he can be next year because maybe he found it.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And I mean, it also depends on how it's scheduled as well, right? If it's more towards, you're doing heavy deadlifts or you're doing whatever heavy, okay, you probably want to be heavier. I think when Vellner in 2018 did like a 270 kilo deadlift, right? So it's like, okay, sometimes you're going to have to be heavy and you're going to have to be strong. Yeah. Other times you might be running, you might be rowing a marathon.
Yeah,
so,
literally. Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a fine line and a balance. And every athlete's different, so it's just finding what works for you, basically. Yeah.
What works for you best in terms of recovery? Like what is probably the thing in the last, let's say, 6 months that you've gone, okay, this is invaluable to my recovery?
I think just like, particularly in the last 6 months, I've put a lot more time into warming up properly.
Okay.
I spend quite a bit of time warming up.
What does warming up properly mean? So like, what was the comparison you were doing, let's say 2 years ago to now's warming up?
2 years ago was just like greasing the groove.
Yeah, okay,
like doing some squats at a lighter weight to warm up. Now it's like I've got tight ankles, so I'm doing a like ankle mobility program and then doing some core stuff to help my lower back and just like little things like that. So I'll probably spend a good 20 to 30 minutes before I even touch a bar. Which
is amazing, right? I'm gonna say to people, right, like in a normal CrossFit session, you'll normally go through the class and do your warm-ups, 10, 15 minutes of warm-ups and movements.
Yeah.
Look, when I reckon until I was like 26 years old, dude, I would walk into a gym and I'd be just go to deadlift 140. We're starting at that. That's what we're starting on. Let's go. It doesn't even matter. And I feel like I enjoy just the fact that I can slow down and do that warm-up meticulously through. And, you're saying at 20 years old, you're already looking at doing that. I think people miss that just because when you're younger, or if you feel like, oh, you can do it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's in the 3 years, 5 years, 7 years when, okay, it's not going to be fine.
Yeah, it's like, it's opening up those positions and activating the right muscles. So then down the road, you don't risk injury or something like that because everything adds up.
Have you ever had a pretty bad injury or anything like that you've gone, okay, I've got to work around that?
So I've had one. Last year I had like a bit of a nerve in my back. It went on a heavy squat clean.
Yeah, okay.
So that flared up and it was an issue for a while, but like with my training I didn't do deadlifts. I didn't do heavy squat cleans or heavy power cleans, and that was a good like at least 6 months.
Yep.
It's better now, and that's why I've been able to put more time into my lifting since the pro. But yeah, that's probably the only injury. It wasn't too bad. Like there wasn't anything structurally wrong.
Yep.
Which the physio had said to me is like, like you're not gonna make it worse. So you can keep doing, but it's just like discomfort, and especially at a young age, you don't really want back pain.
No, you don't. No.
I tried to just be smart about it and build back to everything to slowly. And in the long run, it paid off because I spent more time on technique and fixed a few things, particularly with my like clean and jerks, because I just wasn't able to go as heavy.
Yeah.
So
which is good.
Yeah.
I got final 2 questions for you. One's an easy one, probably one's another harder one, so I'll leave that to the tail end. So the one is day-to-day life. What does a day-to-day life look like for you now? Like, let's say not today, but let's say tomorrow, or when you're actually coaching, right? What does that look like on a day basis? And then the follow-up one is, if we look ahead 5 years, right? Jack at 25 years old, where would you envision yourself to be? If you're kind of like the best state, the ideal state.
Is that the last question?
That's the last question. So where you look at that. So that's those 2.
Okay, I'll keep that one in the back of my mind for a while. So day-to-day life, probably, let's say tomorrow, I'd be doing 2 sessions. So I'd come in the morning at around like 7, do my first session. Depends what that would be focused on, probably strength in the morning. And then, I'd do that. I'd head home, I'd eat, I'd do as much uni as I could. I'd eat again. I'd then come back, do another workout, whether that would be like just some gymnastics work or like a Metcon. And then I'd work in the evening. I think I'd do, like 2 to 3 classes at the end of the night.
Are you still pretty fresh by the end of the night? Because people sometimes think like, 2 workouts, eating all the time, doing all the studying, then you're training people. Do you feel a little bit energy's just lacking by the end of the day?
Yeah. When I like from days like that, when I get home, I just sit down and eat, and I'm like, just don't talk to me for a little. I just let me watch something from YouTube. I just want to eat and like decompress a little bit, which this morning I needed time to decompress before we did this podcast.
Yeah, so, you do. Sometimes you do. Especially you did 2 classes, right? So like back-to-back classes. And you guys are in here early. Like you must wake up at 4 or something to be able to get in here that time.
3:55.
Yeah, there you go. 3:55. So it's already been 5 hours or something like that since you woke up.
Yeah, and like 2 hours doesn't sound like much, but there's a lot of energy that you're putting out to put on a good class.
Yeah.
So it is a little tiring.
Yeah.
But we're doing all right.
Yeah. And then let's look ahead then, that 5 years. Jack at 25, let's say everything's going the right way, whether it be from a CrossFit perspective, life perspective, studying perspective, what might that look like?
So I'd probably still be competing in CrossFit. If everything goes well, I've qualified for the Pro 4 years or something like that.
This is Jack at 93, 94 kilos now.
Oh, not that
on the weight. No, not that weight.
No. 88's the goal.
88, okay.
So I'm 88 kilos. I've qualified for the Pro a few times. And then probably wouldn't be working as a coach anymore. I'd be in some sort of job using my degree. I'm studying economics at the moment. Doing something in that. So day-to-day life would look a little different with that. But that would be the goal.
So it's interesting. So in your mindset, are you one of like, I'd want to continue CrossFit, but it means I'm not going to be like one line of thinking as in like, I'm going to just throw away, not throw away, but it's like, I'm not going to be working. Like I'm just going to head down, focus on this, just do that. You're kind of like, okay, I'm cool to do both parts.
Yeah, I think if you're only doing one thing, then it's like if you're all in on one thing and something goes wrong, it can be like challenging, and you sort of don't know what to do. You have nothing to do with yourself if something happens. So I try to split my focus on working here and training, and then also have that side thing of uni where I'm chipping away at that and making progress elsewhere as well.
I love when it's like, when you're really focused on training or whatever sport people play, and it's like when you call your job or your university, like, that's a side thing. That's a side thing, and I've got my main thing here. But, I totally understand that.
I haven't been full-time the entire time. Like, I've gone part-time. And, I'm not really rushing to get through it. Sort of
still 20, time. Jack. Plenty of time to go.
Trying to enjoy myself at the same time.
That's right. Yeah. Look, Jack, appreciate the time you took this morning to have a chat with us, the Mere Mortals. Appreciate that. Any last words or anything else?
I don't know. I think that's it. That's enough talking from me.
That's enough talking. Easy. All right, Jack. Thanks for that, mate.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.